push that in, it's ready to start cutting. When you push that, we've disengaged the knife. We've disengaged it further if we put it between click stops. Okay, let's take the blade out and change it just to show you how to do that. You should be finger tight. You should be able to get them out real easy. Notice a little mark here at the bottom. That goes to the bottom.
Gotcha.
When you put it back in, it may work either way, but I know it works when it's on the bottom.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah, let's not push our luck. Notice how this thing is kind of put together, and again, another thumb screw just to undo it. And I'm going to go ahead and undo it all the way. You probably don't have to, but just so you can see how it works a little better. And then just take the blade out. And you see how it's kind of got a little notch here. When you put a new blade in, you're going to put it all the way to the bottom of that notch. And one blade will do a number of mats real well, but I would just start. Make sure you know you got a good one when you start. And they're in here. This speed mat is what this thing is. This thing really is pretty easy to use. It's much easier than this.
Oh, this one was terrible.
Especially if you're doing a lot of them. Again, push it all the way in. It's got kind of a little lip on one side. Just set it in there like so. I think that's the way it goes. I hope that's right. Maybe it goes the other way. Yeah, we'll say that that's the way it goes.
Can I get that
That's a
video from
brilliant
you?
idea. Yeah. Super smart.
Technology.
Screwing up already.
Beat me
See,
again.
I didn't do my own thing. I wasn't watching because you
Oh.
need to make sure you get the blade in the right direction. And the tip will be this little screw right there is what kind of stabilizes the blade. So the tip of the blade ought to be coming over that little dot. I had it. You can put it in backwards, which is what I was about to do. On there like so. Bring this back down. And you should be able to cut all your mats with that one blade. I've done as many as 10 mats at once, and they were coming out nice just on the single blade. Okay, so anyway, that's set.
Upside down.
Thank you. Put that back on there. Screw in the little thingies.
Need a tool for this. Like a proprietary tool.
And it has, I mean, you're going to get lost
Unscrew
on some of this stuff. There's some basic instructions up here that really walk you through this that will tell you the highlights pretty well. I've got a piece of board that's 10 by 14, kind of an oddball size. You have to know exactly what size the piece of board is, and you have to know what the dimensions of each one of the borders are. And there are several free apps on the App Store.
Yeah, I remember that app you showed us.
The one that I've got apparently is not there anymore, but there's several more of them. I mean, you can figure it in your head or map it out. But the key point is you have to have the dimensions of the board itself have to be accurate, and you have to know what you want for each one of those dimensions. And then, I don't really even have to put this in here yet. Let's say I'm going to make, oh, I don't know, I said this was 10 by 14. Let's say I'm going to make an opening that leaves me, 2 inches on each side all the way around. They could be different. I'm just going to do them all the same just so I don't get lost. There's some little stops here that regulate how far the blade moves. You can flip them out like that, slide them wherever you want them to go. There's 2 in each direction. Let's just start on the ones on this side. And just slide them all the way out the back of it. And basically the way we want to start, okay, I'm all the way against the edge. I can't be right, can it? Okay, this thing here that says left border, I want that to be 2 inches in. So I'm going to line that little thing that says left border with the thing that says 2. And I'm going to push this little stop, top and bottom. So now it moves right to that dimension. Okay, it's a little bit different when I would go to the other side. My board is 10 inches. I'm going to put it in that way, so it's 14 tall, 10 wide. So I'm going to take the 2, because I want a 2-inch border, I'm going to put the 2 right opposite the 10. Almost there already. This is the part where you'll probably get lost and just look over here and it shows you. Put the width of the border against the dimension of the board and just lock these stops in. And then do the same thing up and down. Where it says bottom border, I'm going to line that up with the 2. That, and then put the stops there. And the top border is at 14, so I'm going to line the 2 next to the 14. You'll spend all your time doing this part, and then it takes just seconds to cut the mat. That. Okay, so it's ready to cut now. I'm going to load this board in. This little lever over here opens and closes the lock. When it's up like that, it's open. It's the left side here. Put it in. And make sure it's square against the bottom and the side, that it's in there straight. And then lock it. So now it's held in place. They say to start on this corner. You could probably start anywhere, but this way you're cutting the edges that have the least amount of support first. To get started, this little arrow shows you the direction of the cut. So we want it going sideways, turn it there, and now push the blade in, and just push it over until it stops. This is where you can screw up. You got to be sure you disengage the blade before you turn it. If not, you're going to break the blade, and probably mess up the mat and have to start over. Turn it down, re-engage, down.
Unreal.
It's so easy.
See, I just did it.
Like this.
That's what I get for while I do this. Kind of make it a rhythm to it.
My
No, that's
Where has this been all my life?
Sorry.
yeah, I saw a
In this
demo.
room.
I saw a demo of this and went, yeah, we need that.
There's no question about it.
Okay, and when you're done, disengage the blade and pull this out so it's between one of the directions. That gets it as far out as possible. And just unlock this, pull it out. Yeah, nice.
That is beautiful.
It works really, really well. It's
it's
critical.
Beveled.
It's critical that you have the dimensions accurate of the board itself. If you don't have these measured accurately, then the borders aren't going to be accurate.
So when you're cutting, it's cutting to the back of the board? Like you want the face
Yes.
of the board facing there?
Yes,
Does that make
I think so. Yes.
So you're looking at the back?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
Because I flipped this over one and turned
Okay,
it over.
it's freaking incredible.
But the real beauty for this is, like if we need a bunch of these, just stick another board in.
Yeah, where was this last time we did that photo?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I had to do
gosh,
all that. We're sitting
it's-
here just like,
Oh, I know.
It's
yeah.
called those students
No, I-
don't get that same education.
We learned how to do it by hand.
Well, Professor